Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You've arrived at a turning point, a place where success is no longer a matter of luck or circumstance, but of deliberate action. This moment right here is yours to command. You fought for it, struggled for it, and bled for it. You have stood face to face with obstacles that were meant to break you. Yet here you are, not just standing tall, but dominating. The game has changed, and you, my friends, are the ones who have flipped it. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they had control. But now, as they watch from a distance, it is them who are drowning in the chaos they once tried to impose upon you. Now, they are the ones losing. When you began this journey, they underestimated you. They thought you were just another face in the crowd, another soul who would fade into the background. They believed that their power, their resources, and their influence would crush you before you even had the chance to step into the arena. But they didn't know you. They didn't know the fire that burned inside you, the determination that kept you pushing forward when all seemed lost. They didn't know that you would not just play the game, you would rewrite the rules entirely. The truth is, they were so consumed with their own sense of superiority that they never saw you coming. They were blinded by their arrogance, too busy making plans for your downfall to even consider that you might be planning something bigger. They assumed their position at the top was unshakable, that no one could ever challenge their dominance. But you were never about taking the easy path. You were never about doing things the way they wanted you to. You took the long road, the one that required sacrifice and grit. You embraced every struggle, every hardship, and turned it into the strength you needed to rise. You were ready when the moment came to take control. They watched, clueless, as you began to shift the tides. Every move you made, every decision you took, it was calculated. Every setback you experienced became a lesson that fueled your desire to push further. You were patient, waiting for the right time to strike. And when that time came, you moved like lightning. You flipped the game on them with precision, using their own arrogance against them. They didn't even know what hit them. They thought they were in charge, but all along, it was you who held the power. It was you who controlled the narrative. It was you who had been writing your story all along, one move at a time. Now, as you stand in this moment of victory, they are scrambling. The tables have turned, and the very forces they relied on are crumbling beneath their feet. The empire they built is eroding, piece by piece, as you carve your own path to success. They are left watching in disbelief as everything they thought they controlled slips away, slipping through their fingers like sand. They are the ones losing now. The very thing they feared most has come to pass. You've outsmarted them, outworked them, and now you're taking the crown. But here's the thing. Don't expect them to admit defeat. Don't expect them to congratulate you or acknowledge your brilliance. They never will. Their pride is too great, and their ego is too fragile. Instead, they will try to tear you down. They will try to make you doubt yourself. They will attempt to create new obstacles in your path, new challenges to break you. But what they don't realize is that they no longer have the power to stop you. They don't hold the keys to your success anymore. You've taken that from them, and now you control your own destiny. They may still try to play the game, but their moves will be clumsy and desperate. They'll make mistakes that they never would have made before, because they no longer understand the game the way they once did. You flipped the script, and they're left trying to follow a playbook that no longer applies. You've exposed their weaknesses, and now it's their turn to deal with the consequences of their own ignorance and pride. It's not just a victory for you, it's a lesson they will never forget. The game has changed, and they will be left to watch as you continue to rise. This is the power of perseverance. This is the power of never giving up when everyone expects you to. This is the power of playing the long game. They thought they could break you. They thought they could control your fate. But instead, you flipped the game on them. You turned every disadvantage into an advantage. You used every setback as fuel for your ambition. And now, they are left to suffer the consequences of their arrogance, while you stand at the top, ready to claim your prize. They will try to find ways to distract you, to discourage you. But remember, they are only trying to cling to the remnants of a game they no longer understand. They will try to manipulate the rules again, to rewrite the narrative to fit their needs. But their time has passed. They had their chance, and they squandered it. Now, they will be left to watch as you rewrite the future. You've shown them that you are unstoppable. You've proven that they are not the ones in control. You are the one with the power. You are the one who has the upper hand. Now, it's time to step into the next phase of your journey. It's time to build upon your victory. Don't settle for just winning the battle. Win the war. Don't stop now. The moment you rest is the moment they have a chance to catch up. Stay relentless. Stay focused. Keep pushing forward. You have proven that you can take on the world and win. Now, prove that you can do it again and again. Because this is just the beginning. Your victory is not a one-time event. It is a statement. It is a testament to the strength, resilience, and power that resides within you. The game has changed. You've turned the tables. They are the ones who are losing now, and they will continue to lose because they cannot compete with what you've become. They cannot compete with the force of will, the drive, and the brilliance that now defines you. So, let them watch as you continue to rise. Let them watch as you take control and carve out your destiny. Because in the end, they will be left with nothing but their failed attempts to bring you down, while you stand at the pinnacle of your success. You've flipped the game, and now they're the ones losing. But let me make something clear here. The loss they're facing is not just about the outcome of the game. This is a loss of everything they thought they knew about power, about control, about success. You see, they built their empire on arrogance, on underestimating others, on exploiting weaknesses. They thought that success was a linear path, one where they simply dominated from the top, where they sat as kings, and others were just mere subjects beneath them. But in the end, what they didn't realize is that the foundation they built their world upon was fragile, and now the cracks are becoming visible. When they first saw you, they dismissed you. You were just another contender in the ring. They thought they knew what it took to defeat you before you ever had the chance to rise. They thought they could just ignore you, treat you as irrelevant. But in doing so, they missed something vital. Your relentless persistence. You weren't like the others. You didn't need a grand stage or a loud announcement to make your mark. You worked in silence, gathering strength, honing your skills. You didn't just play the game. You studied it, dissected it, and found the angles they never even considered. They thought they were invincible, and in their delusion, they failed to see how their own hubris was slowly leading them to their downfall. Now, they're scrambling, trying to regain the control they thought was theirs by right, but it's slipping through their fingers, and they don't know how to stop it. They spent years, maybe decades, living in their bubble of certainty. They surrounded themselves with sycophants, people who never questioned them, who praised their every move, and in doing so, they sealed their fate. They lived in a world where their word was law, where their decisions were unquestioned, and where the consequences of their actions never truly reached them. But you didn't just accept things as they were. You didn't let the status quo define you. You saw the cracks in their empire long before they did. You saw the lies they told themselves, the foundation that was destined to crumble. And while they were distracted, patting themselves on the back, you were laying the groundwork for your own rise, preparing to strike when they least expected it. They didn't see you coming, and that is what's breaking them now. The true beauty of your victory is not that you've taken something from them, but that you've created something they never could. You've built your success on your own terms, using the lessons you learned from every failure, every rejection, every hardship you faced along the way. You've learned to adapt, to pivot, to evolve, while they remained static, relying on old tricks and outdated methods. They believed that what worked in the past would continue to work in the future. They never understood the dynamic nature of progress, of change, and so they're stuck. They're drowning in a sea of their own inadequacies, while you continue to ride the tide of your success, effortlessly carving your path forward. But let's not forget, the road to this moment has not been easy. You didn't just wake up one day and find yourself on top. You didn't just flip the game by chance. You earned this. Every bruise, every setback, every moment of doubt, it all played a part in shaping the person you've become today. You've been through the fire. You've had your world shaken to its core. You've faced moments when it seemed impossible to go on, when everyone around you doubted your ability to succeed. But in those moments, when the world told you to quit, you didn't. You dug deeper. You found strength in places you never knew existed. You found courage when fear should have held you back. And now, as you stand on the other side of it, you realize that it was never about the obstacles you faced, but how you chose to rise above them. While they continue to choke on their own mistakes, you stand as a beacon of what's possible when you refuse to settle, when you refuse to let others dictate your narrative. You've turned every obstacle into a stepping stone. You've taken every punch thrown at you and turned it into fuel for your ambition. And now, they have no choice but to watch as you soar higher than they ever imagined possible. But here's the thing they never understood. Success is not about stomping on others to get to the top. It's about building something sustainable, something that lasts. Your rise isn't a fluke. It's a carefully calculated series of steps that you took, even when no one else believed in you. You've created a foundation so strong that no one can ever knock it down. They, on the other hand, built their empire on unstable ground, thinking they could avoid the consequences of their actions. And now, that foundation is crumbling, piece by piece, because it was never built to last. They thought they could play the game by their own rules, but the universe doesn't care about their arrogance. The world doesn't reward those who rely on shortcuts. And now, as they desperately try to fix what they broke, you're already looking ahead to your next move, ready to continue building your empire, brick by brick. There's an undeniable satisfaction in watching them fall. It's not that you wish harm on anyone, but there's a sense of justice in watching the ones who sought to break you face the consequences of their own actions. They had every opportunity to change, to evolve, to treat others with respect, but they chose not to. They chose to remain in their bubble of superiority, believing they were untouchable. And now, they are paying the price for their hubris. They are losing because they never understood the most important truth in life. Success is not a one-time event. It's a mindset, a relentless pursuit, a commitment to growth and improvement. They thought they had it all figured out, but they never anticipated the one thing that would lead to their downfall: your ability to keep moving forward, no matter the cost. And now, as they desperately scramble to salvage their empire, you can't help but recognize the emptiness of their victory. They built their success on the backs of others, using people as stepping stones, exploiting every opportunity to enrich themselves while crushing everyone in their path. But you've built something different. You've built your success from the ground up, with integrity, with hard work, and with an unwavering belief in yourself. You didn't need to tear others down to lift yourself up. You did it with honor, with a clear vision, and with the kind of strength that comes from facing adversity and overcoming it. They may have temporarily held the crown, but in the end, it was you who proved that true power doesn't come from domination. It comes from resilience. It comes from the ability to rise time and time again, no matter the odds. Now, as they watch you continue to climb, they will try to undermine you. They will attempt to recreate the illusion of control, but they are grasping at straws. They are trying to hold on to something that is already slipping away. The game has changed, and they no longer understand the rules. They are the ones losing, not because they were outplayed, but because they never understood the game in the first place. And as they struggle to adapt, you will continue to move forward, because you have something they never will: the ability to evolve, to grow, and to succeed on your own terms. The game is yours now. You've flipped it. And now, they are the ones who must learn the hard lesson of what it means to lose. So take a moment and look around. Understand that every single step you've taken has brought you here. Every single sacrifice, every single fight, every single moment of pain, it's all led to this. You've flipped the game on them. You've turned the tables. And now, they are the ones losing. They are the ones scrambling to catch up, while you're already moving ahead, building the future they can only dream of. They underestimated you. They thought they had won, but they were wrong. And now, the victory belongs to you. And with it comes the power to shape your own destiny. Because you, and only you, hold the keys to your future. Let them watch as you continue to rise, knowing that it is you who controls the game now. And they, well, they are the ones losing. And as they watch their empire crumble around them, they can't help but realize that their downfall was inevitable. It wasn't some random twist of fate or unforeseen event that did them in. It was their own arrogance. It was their blind belief that they could stay on top forever without changing, without adapting, without understanding that the game was always evolving. While they sat in their ivory towers, thinking the world would bend to their will, you were down in the trenches, learning, growing, and most importantly, adapting. You never sat still. You never waited for the world to hand you anything. You seized it for yourself. And now, as they stand there, watching their world unravel, you're standing at the top, watching it all unfold with clarity, knowing it was never a matter of if, but when. The truth is, they were never ready for you. They were too busy believing their own hype to understand that the very system they had built their lives around was fundamentally flawed. They thought they were invincible because they had been successful for a time, but they missed the most important lesson of all. Success is never permanent unless you work for it every single day. They thought their past victories would be enough to carry them forward, but as the world changed, they stayed stagnant. They failed to innovate, failed to evolve, and failed to recognize that they were being outpaced by someone who was hungry, someone who was relentless, someone who refused to follow the rules they had set. And this is where the real difference lies. They had success handed to them on a silver platter, the product of manipulation, luck, and sheer privilege. But you had to fight for every inch of progress you've made. Nothing came easy for you. No one gave you a seat at the table. You didn't rely on connections or shortcuts to get ahead. You relied on your own strength, your own skills, and your own vision. While they rested on their laurels, you were out there grinding, pushing yourself beyond your limits. You were willing to take the risks they were too afraid to take. You were willing to face the challenges they thought were too great to overcome. You never sought validation from anyone. You sought growth, and it's that pursuit of growth that's now paying off. But here's the thing, they're losing more than just their power. They're losing their identity. They are nothing without the empire they've built. Without the prestige, the wealth, and the control, they have nothing left to stand on. They've based their entire existence on being the top dog, on being the one who calls the shots. Without that, who are they? Without that, what purpose do they have? And this is what you've done to them. You've stripped them of their illusion of invincibility. You've revealed their greatest weakness, which is their dependency on external validation. They were never strong because of their abilities. They were strong because the world allowed them to be. And now, the world is no longer on their side. The game is flipped, and they are no longer the dominant force. They are the ones scrambling, trying to maintain relevance in a world that no longer cares about them. They're the ones losing because they never took the time to build a foundation that could weather the storms. You, on the other hand, have spent years building resilience. You've faced obstacles head-on, never shying away from the difficult work. Every setback was an opportunity to grow stronger. Every failure was a lesson, not a reason to quit. You've become something they can never be, adaptable, resilient, and driven by purpose. You've mastered the art of reinvention. They were so busy enjoying the fruits of their past successes that they never saw the need to evolve. They never thought they would need to. But the game has changed. The world has moved on. And now they're left behind, watching in disbelief as someone they once dismissed takes their place. But let's not be mistaken. They will try to claw their way back. They will try to make a comeback, to regain control, to reassert their dominance. But here's the hard truth for them. It's too late. You've already surpassed them. They will never be able to catch up to the level you've reached. They may still try to pull the strings from behind the scenes, but the truth is they no longer have the influence they once had. People see through them now. The cracks are showing. They can't hide behind their power anymore. And as they try to regain their footing, you will continue to move forward, never looking back. You will continue to build, to grow, and to rise. They may try to disrupt you, but every attempt will be futile because they have no real power over you anymore. They only ever had power because you allowed them to. You were never their victim. You were always the one in control. And now they see that. It's a bitter pill for them to swallow, isn't it? The people who once scoffed at you, who tried to undermine you at every turn, who laughed at your ambitions and mocked your dreams. Those same people are now watching as you take everything they once held dear. You've proven that their assumptions about you were wrong, that their arrogance was misplaced, and that they were never in control to begin with. And now, with every victory you achieve, they are faced with the brutal reality that they are the ones losing. They were never as invincible as they thought. They were never as powerful as they believed. They were always just one mistake away from collapse. And that mistake was underestimating you. And while they wallow in their defeat, you will continue to rise. Because that's the thing about true power. It doesn't rely on external validation. It doesn't depend on luck or privilege. It comes from within. It comes from the fire inside you, the one that never goes out, no matter how dark the world may get. You've built your strength on your own terms. You didn't wait for someone to hand it to you. You fought for it. You earned it. And now, no one can take it from you. And here's the thing. They will try to rewrite the narrative. They will try to make it seem like they were the victims, like they were the ones who were wronged. They will try to make it seem like the game was never really fair, that they were somehow cheated out of their success. But it's all lies. Because in the end, you didn't win because of luck. You won because you were willing to do what they never could. You were willing to fight when they gave up. You were willing to get your hands dirty when they thought they were too good for that. You were willing to play the long game while they were playing checkers. And that's why you're standing here now, while they're losing everything they've built. It's not enough for them to just lose the game. They're losing their place in history. They're losing their relevance. They're losing the respect of those they once held in the palm of their hand. People are seeing them for what they really are: frauds, manipulators, and opportunists. They're losing the one thing that matters most: trust. And when trust is gone, everything else crumbles. They'll never be able to rebuild what they had. They'll never have the same power again. Because you've shown them that it was never about the game they played. It was about the game they couldn't even see. And that's where your real victory lies. They've lost because they couldn't see the future. They couldn't see that the world was changing, that they couldn't keep playing by the same rules. But you did. You saw the potential. You saw the opportunities that they missed. You saw the way forward, the way to the top, and you seized it. While they were too busy holding on to what they had, you were busy creating something far greater. And now, they'll never be able to catch up. They'll always be playing catch up while you continue to rise, to grow, to build. Because you're not just playing the game, you're changing it. So let them watch as you climb higher. Let them watch as they lose everything. Because in the end, they were never meant to stay on top. You were. In the end, they are the ones losing because they failed to see the truth. Success isn't about holding on to power. It's about adaptability, resilience, and the ability to evolve. While they were blinded by arrogance, you quietly built something stronger. Now, as they watch their empire crumble, you stand at the peak, not just a victor, but a testament to what happens when you refuse to be held down. You didn't just play the game, you transformed it. And that's why, in the end, it is you who will continue to rise, while they are left behind.